Over the weekend, a viral debate sparked online asking which comedian had the better run when it comes to movies, Martin Lawrence or Chris Tucker. This conversation has caused a split within the community, with many having a hard time deciding who to pick. Comedy Hype will reshare the debate on Instagram, and Tony Baker would even respond in our comments, analyzing the movies of both comedians. Now, despite the attempt at a lighthearted debate, not everyone was thrilled with Comedy Hype posting the question, as Eddie Griffin also chimed in and said, "Both, and F y'all for trying to divide and conquer us. Who had better movies, Robin Williams or Chevy Chase? Try that with them white people." Today we have our Comedy Hype analyst, Pierre, calling in, along with very special guest, Marcus Board, to give their thoughts and reactions. Pierre, I'm gonna come to you. We've seen these comparisons online. You know, a lot of people would get upset. I'll read Eddie's response to us just one more time for you, just so we can get a clear take on what he said, and I want to get your reaction to it. So here's what he said. He said, "Both, and F y'all for trying to divide and conquer us. Who had better movies, Robin Williams or Chevy Chase? Try that with them white people." Pierre, what are your thoughts and reactions?
I totally understand what Eddie. First of all, I didn't even see this thing until this morning, so it's been out. I was kind of shocked when I saw Tony Baker talking about it. So what is this about? I totally understand where Eddie Griffin's coming from, you know, the divide and conquer situation. But again, now I'm hearing that it was just a lighthearted attempt. But people do that all the time. We compare all the time. We compare rappers, Tupac or Biggie. We do a lot of stuff we do, you know, we compare, you know, do a comparison. Unfortunately, you know, we're in a state of trying to get people to come together and not separate, you know, as Black folks. So when you put stuff like that together, even though it's a lighthearted debate, some people are going to take it seriously and say, hold on, man, we don't want that. We you know, let's find a way to come together. I understand. Like I said, you just said, lighthearted debate. People do it all the time. I thought it was kind of strange to put them two together because they were two great people who, you know, had great careers and still have great careers. To see who's better, I don't know. Maybe it could have been phrased another way or presented another way, that it wasn't putting them two together like that to say who's better than the other person or who, you know, had a better career, because both of them have great careers. And to sit there and say, who's it better? You know, I mean, why are we debating that?
Yeah, and just to clarify, so it was just about like in the movie realm, like just their movies, their roles and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Marcus, let me bring you in. Thank you so much for joining us first and foremost. I love when you're able to chime in on these topics. Same thing for you. You know, what are your thoughts seeing that Eddie Griffin, you know, responded to us in the post that we kind of reposted that was trending on Twitter? What are your thoughts and reactions?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversations generally about what we should and shouldn't be doing as Black people, particularly in the public sphere. We want to be really supportive and encouraging, particularly for folks like Martin and Chris Tucker, who are exceptional people in comedy. I know there's a Black comedy out right now, Juneteenth weekend, that we want to support. So I get the idea of not wanting us to compete against each other. At the same time, people are going to have opinions. It's something to drive conversation. And I think it's important when we are able to talk to one another and be able to at least have these conversations in ways that, I don't know, bring us together, give us something to talk about.
Yeah, no, I appreciate both of your takes on this. Now, of course, Comedy Hype would respond to Eddie Griffin. I want to read this comment to you all. So Comedy Hype would respond and said, "Did Conspiracy Brother put you up to this? Hashtag all love." So I think he made another joke and say that it is all in love. But I think, as both of you said, a lot of people do take it personal just because of the climate that we're in. You know, I want to extend, you know, open arms to Eddie Griffin. I would love to have Eddie Griffin on the show so that we can talk about it as a collective. Pierre, I know we talk about this all the time. You know, we can have these conversations online, but let's have it in person. Let's, you know, I think there's a way to have a conversation, even if it's both on Comedy Hype and Pierre's Panic Room. So Eddie Griffin, you know, invitations there. Go ahead, Pierre.
Well, maybe what we could have done. Well, I'm part of Comedy Hype, but I didn't know they'd put this out. But maybe it could have been just putting both of those guys' careers against each other and praise their careers and let people speak upon themselves about their careers. You know what I'm saying? Say, look at all these movies movies that he did on that side right there. And let people make, you know, if they want to have a choice. I like them movies better than opposed to putting them against each other in a way is who's best. Just show both of them have successful careers, you know, again. You know, I didn't see the whole piece with Tony Baker, but I think he was breaking it down, who had what movies or whatever, comparing. I didn't get a chance to see it. Like I said, I saw it this morning right before I came on here. So I really haven't seen the whole thing. But But yeah, but everybody debates. Rap magazines debate rappers. You know what I'm saying? Who's the greatest rapper of all time? A lot of people debate stuff, you know.
Yeah, and I want to play Tony Baker because I think he did a great job taking something, where some people may see it as a negative. Like he was able to run down, like you said, run down their careers. So let's take a look at what Tony Baker had to say before we wrap up.
Okay, I'm not sure what we got Martin and Chris Tucker going at it, but they narrowed it down to the movies. Because if they had TV in there, Martin and Chris Tucker not in the same league because Martin has Def Comedy Jam and the iconic TV show Martin. But let's break it down. Okay, Martin was in Do the Right Thing. He was in House Party 1, House Party 2. He was in Boomerang, Bad Boys. He was in Life, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. He was in Nothing to Lose. He was in Big Mama's House 1, Big Mama's House 2. You got Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker was in House Party 3. He was in Meteor Man. I remember him in Meteor Man. He was in Dead Presidents. He was in Friday. He was in The Fifth Element. He was in Jackie Brown. He was in Money Talks. He was in Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. Pound for pound, Chris has more meat on the bone, pound for pound, because he's only been in like 12 movies, maybe? I don't know. I ain't got no answer. What y'all think?
So Pierre, let me ask, what do you say to people that say, well, and I think you kind of mentioned this earlier, rappers do it and, we see it in sports. Can we not have fun in the comedy space? What are your thoughts to people, that think that or that may say that in the comments? What are your thoughts?
Sure, people do it all the time, and people don't even like it when they do it then sometimes, So, but what kind of climate are we in right now, today? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I haven't heard debate between rappers in a second, but we've done it before. So what are we talking about today? And if I see, it can be. I don't have a problem with it. It's a lighthearted comparison to two people we both love. I'm quite sure Comedy Hype loves Chris Tucker and Martin Lawrence and praises them and loves them. It's just a lighthearted whatever. But again, putting two people together, saying who has the best. You mean somebody has to have the best and somebody doesn't have to have the best. And to look at someone at those two statures as a negative because they're not winning versus someone else, that's, I think that's what Eddie Griffin's talking about. He just feels like it shouldn't have been talked about like that, even to pit somebody at that high of a level. Maybe somebody coming up, maybe you can put that up, but someone that right there has a fan base and it's love. Maybe, and Eddie's a comedian, so Eddie ain't gonna like it too much, especially about comics, so, and where he stands.
Well, despite all the craziness online, Eddie Griffin, we extend, an invitation for you to come onto the show. I would love to have you and sit down and have a conversation. That way we don't have to talk about it online. We can talk about it in person. And shoot, I would love to see you on Pierre's Panic Room as well. So, come see us both. Come see us both.